Hey folks, Studio here. So I'm here to say something that might sound a bit paranoid or weird, but do not trust anybody ever. Now the reason I say this is because people tend to hear an opinion, and if it's from somebody they trust, they'll react very quickly to it. So for example, my friend and jungler for my team thinks or thought Mordekaiser was really good, and I asked him why. This was a couple months ago, when he got a small buff to his Q, I think, and some minor tweaks after he'd been nerfed into the ground. And my friend said, well, Mordekaiser is good because Dyrus has been playing him. Now, that wasn't even Dyrus saying that Mordekaiser is good. I think he might have. But this was like 1 or 2 days of playing in solo queue. And he was already calling Mordekaiser amazing, based off someone else playing him. And the question I have is this good? And the answer is no. You really shouldn't jump into people's advice like this. I mean, you should question this advice right now. But if I say something is strong, and you just accept it, then it's very easy to fall into certain traps. It's very easy to think, oh yeah, no, I should always ban this, this, and this. Or I should never run this in lane. Like, I used to be the exact opposite. I would never really look at what's happening, and I tend to fall behind the meta a little bit. But like Doran's Blades. They used to be really good for stacking, like, you had to stack them. And that took me forever to adapt to, because I'd be like, no, I don't want to stack Doran's Blades. It's just delaying the big items too much, and then I would realize that I'd lose the game before I could get to the big items. So you really have to just kind of judge everything on your own. Now, this may seem obvious, but it's very easy to just fall into these traps where you'll hear something and go, oh yeah, that's really good. Yeah, alright, okay. Just ask yourself a few questions. A, is it good because he says it's good, or is there a reason for it? Like, what makes something strong? What would make Mordekaiser good? In the case of a few months ago, really, he just didn't have the same lane presence, he just got bullied too much early, and Mordekaiser just wasn't that good. Ask yourself, now, is this something that people can adapt to, or is it going to be good for a while? Now, Sion mid was really popular for like the first month of Season 2. And the question I have is, well, was that because people didn't know how to play against Sion? Or because people he was really good and hard to deal with? And it was a bit of both. Sion was good, but no one knew how to deal with him because he'd been so not there for so long. I mean, in team fights, the best way to deal with Sion is you want to burst his shield down every time he puts it up and kind of ignore him, because he'll just neuter his damage. He'll have that stun. It's a really good stun, but having only that stun for an offensive spell just kills his damage. And adapting to characters like Sion, like Morgana, like Orianna is tricky and takes some time. Now, that's not to say Morgana wasn't overpowered or Orianna wasn't overpowered, but characters like that can get really popular really quickly, and then just fall out of flavor immediately. This happened with Olaf too, actually, once he got the Ragnarok buffs. So people didn't really know how to deal with him in lane, and the answer is don't let him do this to you nonstop. Pretend I'm holding axes. If he keeps doing this, and you don't ever respond to it, he's going to kill you, because that's a lot of damage. But really, Olaf was very weak to ganks. If he fell behind, he was kind of useless. And eventually, once you got into team fights, you could just kite him non-stop, because him doing this, will be throwing axes, does not actually keep you in range very well. So a combination of this and this wasn't really that scary, because you could never do it. So, just final thought, question every piece of advice you hear, and just think about it. For a few minutes, go, is it good? Really? Will it work? Can people adapt to it? How would I react to it? I mean, sometimes there's a few gems that if you overthink, you won't see how strong they are. But other times, you know what? You just get a lot of bad advice. Now, I'm just going to put this out here. I'm going to give you guys 3 things to think about. 1, support Mordekaiser. Is it any good? 2, support Rammus top. Will it work? 3, Jungle Blitzcrank. It's amazing. Why or why not? I don't want to hear the answers. I mean, feel free to post them. But these are just things to think about. And like in each of those scenarios, you can find a lot of strengths and a lot of weaknesses. Alright, so this is Studio, and I'm just going to say adios.